What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 423 of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week, where we will be breaking down some of the current events, the rumors, the news, the gossip, and other things that went down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days that we will talk about, because that's the point of talking on a podcast, is when you talk about things that are on the podcast. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me, as always, is Robert DeFelice.
All right, we got this out of the way. Only 519 to go for the rest of the decade. Tony, it is now 2020. How are you feeling?
In hindsight, not all that great. You're aware of this. I had an eventful January 1st. I took a chunk out of my finger and did so very stupidly from trying to cut a bunch of potatoes, and ended up passing out from doing it. And funny story, the next day when I was cleaning the wound, passed out again. Two times. I don't know why. But it's doing a little bit better. It's been a couple days. It's now just like my whole finger's kind of wrapped up and shit. And I got plenty of other things going on. It's kind of like, hey, today you've got allergy problems as well. And today your foot hurts, or this is whatever. So I've had I just keep getting beaten up already in 2020, it seems. How's it going on your side of the fence?
On my side of the fence, as the listeners know, because we have the 2 nights reviewed up on the channel, I covered Wrestle Kingdom this weekend. Following the first night, I did not sleep. So it began at 2 a.m. on Saturday, and I just did not sleep until I think maybe 6 a.m. the following day, and I slept for maybe 3.5 hours. So I was a wreck. I told you I felt like I got hit by a truck. Like, not sleeping is an awful thing to put yourself through. I don't know how you do it.
Like I said, once you get hit by that truck, eventually after a while, it feels like a car, then it feels like a bike, then it feels like a pillow, then you're just used to it, and then it's just life. And it worked, right? Next night,
it did work, but the 3 hours felt like 9 after not sleeping at all. So it did feel like a pillow.
Once you talk to somebody who sleeps regularly on a regular schedule, and they're like, "Oh, I got 7.5 hours to sleep. I'm so tired," and then you're like, "Oh, I got 40 minutes of sleep. This is awesome," kind of thing. And it's those doctors listening. Just sort of like, God, I hate this. This sounds terrible. Get better, you two.
Yeah, I know, really. The people must be very concerned for our well-being.
And mental states and plenty of other things. Shout out to Awesome Piano Man.
Yeah.
So, obviously, hopefully, you guys are doing much better, and you should tell us how you're doing in this 2020 by leaving a comment below, and tell us your thoughts on all the topics that we're going to be talking about in the comments as well. Obviously, if you are on the platforms that do not have a comment section, maybe you're listening on Google Play, maybe you're listening on Spotify or Stitcher or iTunes, or they don't even call it iTunes anymore, but I'm sick of saying Apple Podcasts too, because that's just annoying. So iTunes is quicker. I'm going to say that for the rest of my life. But yeah, if you're there, you can't leave any kind of a comment, but you can leave a rating. So you should do that. That'll help out quite a bit. And hop on over to YouTube. And while you do that, subscribe if you haven't done that already. Ring that little notification bell, like the video, drop a comment, tell us your thoughts on these hot tags. Not a whole lot of hot tags, but we got some stuff to break down. Most of it's going to revolve around us doing something that you guys had said in the fan feedback that you guys like quite a bit, which is that we talk about the Raw that just happened. So that's going to be our big feature, but a couple other things to go along with it too. Yes. One of them being WWE Break It Down with Drew McIntyre. I didn't know this at first, but they had done one of these before. They did like a soft pilot, essentially, with Seth Rollins. I watched that one, and I watched the Drew McIntyre one. I'm not overall the biggest fan. I think that this is basically just it's photo shoot. It's the same. It's the same thing. You got a guy sitting in a chair, you show him something, or you say, hey, tell us about this part of your career. And the guy goes, well, it was interesting. This is blah, blah, blah. It's the same exact thing. The only difference, photo shoot, they're in front of a screen. It goes, they see the picture and they go, oh, ha, 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 it's whatever. and they're sitting in a chair. And Break It Down, they got a white background to them, and they don't look at a picture.
See, the white background made me think it was Untold, because I saw clips of this, and I thought it was Untold because they're just sitting in front of a white background.
No, it's just the guy sitting there, and it pops up a little thing that says, like for Drew McIntyre, it was like, when he won the Intercontinental Championship from John Morrison, and then it just goes straight from, like, a graphic that says, like, TLC 2009 or whatever it was. I think it was 2009. And then it goes, yeah, that was, an interesting part of my career, and this is the story behind this, and whatever like that. So it's exactly the same. I don't know how WWE Network wants to keep doing this when they could just kind of keep the same show. Like, they don't need to reformat it and tweak the littlest things about it. Like, I tweak a couple things here and there from Smack Talk. You might notice now, like, the intro is different a little bit. Like, I just kind of redid that, newer version of the logo, essentially, and some beefed up graphics and stuff here and there. But changing a little bit of that, I don't make a big deal about it. I'm not like, well, this is a brand new type of podcast. This is now Smark Out Moment, Smark
Talk Smack.
Yeah, or something like that. And it's like, well, we have said it a million times before, the whole, like, 365 and 24 and Untold and Chronicle and Day of and all this. Same thing when it comes to these, like, you sit the person down and you ask them questions type thing. They're all the same. It's the same as a podcast like the Broken Skull Sessions, except there's no person continuing the conversation and on air pitching the question, So it might as well be photo shoot. It might as well be blanket on the other ones. There's a couple other ones that I'm blanket on them now, but it's fine. It's nothing all that great. It's nothing bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I'll take your word for it, and I'll probably see it one day many years down the line when I'm like, oh, I have 5 minutes. I'll watch this.
I actually don't know how long it is. I think it might be like 20 minutes or so. And if that's the case, if you got 20 minutes, especially if you're a fan of Drew McIntyre, if you put it on, it's background noise. It's not something you actually have to, like, sit and watch. It's not really enthralling, any kind of entertaining type of thing with it. Like, this is like a special thing that you might not have known or something like that. It's basically him saying things like, for instance, he always wanted to have a match with The Undertaker, and when he was standing across the ring from him with that tag team match with Reigns and Shane McMahon, that it was like the one thing that he wanted in the match was where he would stand face to face with Undertaker. And then he was like, oh, this is cool. And he's like, okay, well, yeah, of course it's cool. You're standing across from the Undertaker. Like, yeah, nothing surprising about that. So it's like, it's okay. See it if you want. Skip it. It won't matter. I think it was a little bit better than the Seth Rollins one. But, So I hope that this is not the new thing where they just, like, for the next 8 weeks or so, they're just like, now it's going to be break it down this person and break it down that person. Unless they tell some more interesting stories. McIntyre's wasn't the most interesting in the world to me. Let's go to Nikki Bella is engaged. Apparently she's been engaged since November, and they just sort of didn't say anything.
Yeah, imagine that.
When did they start dating? I mean, I'm not a big gossip person. I don't really care. I don't even know the name of the guy. But
Artem, I can't pronounce his last name to save my fucking life. Is Artem from Dancing with the Stars.
How do you spell, I can't pronounce his last name to save my fucking life?
You'd be surprised. You should look it up. I bet you can't do it either.
Let's see. Nikki Bella engaged to, let's see the guy's name. Artem.
Yeah.
Chigvintsev. Chigvintsev.
Hold on. I'm gonna... let's YouTube this. Dancing with the Stars.
Anderson. Yeah, I'm gonna say Chigvintsev.
What should be like?
That's my final answer.
Carter.
Yeah, Smith. Chigvintsev. I don't know the emphasis. Which emphasis is on the wrong syllable.
Look, I clicked on a video, and the first thing I see is a screenshot of John, for John.
I can't seem to find anything about how to pronounce his name, but it doesn't really matter. It's Artem, dude that she has been dating since, however, I don't remember it being that long ago that they started dating, but I really honestly don't care all that much. It's good, I guess. I mean, it's good for them. I still don't quite buy into the idea that this isn't something fabricated, you know?
Yeah. I really I feel like the fact that she's dating him, I guess not engaged to him, it just makes me wonder if something was going on while they were on the show together, and uh, it's just all weird.
Now, see, with the whole, like,
Okay, yes, it is Chigvintsev.
Chigvintsev.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. With that, got that right. With this whole like idea of the Nikki Bella engagement type thing and stuff like that, that's more for the people that follow all the Total Bellas, Total Divas, and that kind of stuff. I checked out of that a long enough time ago that I'm not going to be following this whole engagement. Congrats if it's real. If it's not real, I don't care. You know, but it's still wrestling news. It's still something that some people are very much invested in.
She did say that he makes her vagina smile. So, I mean, like, what else could you want in the person you want to spend the rest of your life with?
Depends on what type of a smile.
Yeah.
You know, if it's one of those like say cheese and it's very awkward.
No.
You ever see the deleted scene in Terminator 2 where John is trying to convince the T-800 how to learn how to smile?
No.
Oh, it's so good. So, for anybody who doesn't know, there's a scene Terminator 2. It's in when they're in the desert location of the movie, about 3/4 of the way through before they go off onto Cyberdyne, and they're talking about the whole idea of smiling because John's like, why don't you like lighten up a little bit, smile once in a while, and he's like, smile, and he's like, yeah, smile. So John goes up to this woman who's running this like little shop where they've got like later on they get like the burger and the french fries and stuff. And he's like, hey, nice place you got here. And she's like, give me a break. And just goes away. And John's like, all right, well, that's a bad example. And he points out at a guy. He's like, smile like that guy. So it shows the T-800 analyzing the guy's smile. And then great acting from Arnold. He like struggles to learn how to move his mouth to become like a smile. He ends up looking like a horse.
No.
And then John's like, that's good. Maybe practice in front of a mirror or something. And then the T-800 just like frowns again. It's so fucking great. I love it. So if it's that type of smile, I don't know. You might ask for something else.
Let's hope it's a genuine smile.
Yeah, not an Arnold Schwarzenegger smile. Then again, if you watch Pumpin' Iron, he's coming all the time. So
Oh.
there goes the YouTube algorithm. It doesn't matter. That's what January 20th or something, where the whole Child Protection Act cop of bullshit kicks in.
Yeah.
This account is not for kids.
But we do say stuff like rad. So you might think we're for kids, but we're not.
We say the word cool, but we also might go, I'm coming all the time. So midway through.
And really, is there anything more cool than coming all the time?
I know that I'm not voting the opposite direction of that. Now I desperately want to watch Terminator 2 and just, maybe a fan track in the future. I don't know. Good time to plug the Patreon, by the way. If you want us to watch whatever or do something that's in particularly special to you, donate to the Patreon, pick your poison tier. That is the way that you can request a special feature or a gimmick on either Smark Out Moment or Fanboys Anonymous. So if you want us to be like, hey, watch that scene in Terminator 2, do a Terminator 2 fan tracks, well, that's the way to get us to do it. If you want to make sure I do something like watch Ready to Rumble, because I haven't seen that, and you want to
and apparently you haven't seen No Holds Barred either. If you want Tony to watch Hulk Hogan versus Zeus in an octagon that's electric, I think you need to donate to the Patreon.
It could be, yeah. We're going to work on the next one that was for Guest 5, which is going to be Pokemon the First movie. So that's going to be coming up sometime somewhat soon. for Fanboys Anonymous to knock that out for the month. And we recently did a couple different things. We did the ones for Guest 5 and for Marco over the past couple of weeks, so go back and check that out for Smark Moment and such. And, if you got $1 to spare, that's great. $5 to spare, even better. Now, I'm going to try to work on the Dark Cast and try to get something up starting with that sometime soon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe even later on this week if I get a chance to just record something or whatever, because Dark Cast, still not really sure exactly what I'm going to do for that, but it's just extra supplemental material, so,
Let's throw this question out there. For those of you that already donate to the Patreon, or for those of you considering it, if we made the Pick Your Poison tier $10, would you feel more compelled to donate?
Oh, that's where I moved the Darkcast. That is now the $10 tier instead of the $20 one. I heard what you guys had said, and I said, you know what? That makes sense. So that is the $10 tier right now, and I'm trying to figure out other ways to kind of do some other things like that. I'm not entirely sure how to work out, like maybe like a $20 range or like a $25 range or something to sort of mix it all up. But the current levels, for anybody who isn't aware and doesn't want to go to patreon.com/smarkoutmoment, $1 is basically just, hey, thanks. That's, whatever. $5 is the ad block forgiveness, and you will also be listed on the Smarks Club on the website. $10 is the Dark Cast, and the Dark Cast is going to be something at least once a month, if not 2-3 times a month, depending on how many people are a part of it. That's going to be just extra little things that are only on the Patreon. You won't be able to get access to that anywhere else. I won't post it on YouTube. I won't post it on iTunes or any of that kind of stuff. And that's just mostly going to be some extra supplemental stuff. Like I just said, maybe it's going to be me spitting some random theories I have about pro wrestling or something. I have a topic in mind that I wanted to do, and I might actually do that, about how we're on the wrong timeline right now with professional wrestling. So that might be something for that. Or maybe we'll even do some kind of like a little extra special features or something like that. Maybe I'll be so inclined to do like, I don't know, a podcast version of Scouting Talent, or maybe we're all going to get together one night after recording something and just kind of shoot the shit and have like a scramble and sort of be like, oh, we're off the air. We can, say some dirtier things and stuff like that. It could be a good way to do that for the Darkcast. Right now, I do have the $20 mark is the fan vote for Darkcast, where you can actually, it's kind of like a miniature version of the Pick Your Poison tier, where you can pick some topics that we could talk about on the Darkcast. $25 right now is the mailbag priority, which also factors into the whole idea that we're not doing the mailbags every month anymore. Or at least that's the game plan for right now. But if you want us to do more mailbags and you donate to the $25 thing, we will answer your questions for that. So that's, again, another variation of the Pick Your Poison, because I know $50 can be steep for some people. I'm, well aware of that. But maybe you really, really want, 10 mailbag questions answered, and it's February, and you don't want to wait until the April Q2 one of them. Something to take in mind. And we got, of course, if you want to donate $58,000, then you totally could, but I don't know who's going to be crazy enough to do that. So, same kind of thing for Fanboys Anonymous. And, that's kind of how the Patreon works. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully we've got a lot of stuff coming your way when it comes to that. But yeah, by the way, Guest 5, let us know. Pokemon the first movie, that's what we're going with. Drop a comment below. So, let's move on to Catchpoint. Drew Gulak has filed a trademark for Catchpoint. And what Catchpoint is his group that he had that was a stable in Evolve. They incorporated a couple different people into that, and some people, I've referenced it here and there. They referenced it when they did the Evolve. What was it, 131?
One.
Yeah, with 131, the anniversary special. So, at the very least, he's trying to protect a little bit of his future if he were to go elsewhere. Or he just really likes the name and he wants to make sure that he's got that as a trademark for himself.
I imagine that he just loves that name. Can you imagine? I just love the name and I can't get enough of it. I want a trademark Catchpoint.
I've got Review Point. I've got Pay-Per-View Point. You can have Catchpoint.
There you go.
So I know some people would look at that and they would go, oh my God, he's trademarking something that he could use outside of WWE. That means that he wants to leave. I don't think that's the case. Do you?
Not in this particular instance. but I do think it's good to have those trademarks.
Never hurts to have some kind of stuff that you can fall back on. If something were to happen, if Drew Gulak were to want to leave, he could form that stable elsewhere in AEW or MLW or New Japan or whatever, and if he's got the rights to it, then he can use Catchpoint. That's how that works.
That's awesome. Trademarking is an awesome thing. I'm glad people in the wrestling world are just discovering it.
Well, John Cena discovered trademark a long time ago.
That's true. I believe he's related to him.
Before we get into the Raw stuff, what other random crap can we talk about? Not necessarily random as in like, well, what type of cheese do you like on your scrambled eggs? But you know what I mean?
No, we're not doing that.
It's not quite snack talk.
For that matter, pepper jack. Not bad.
Interesting.
So New Japan was this weekend. I implore all of you to check out Callum and I reviewing both nights. I thought we did a really fun job. And Callum is so much fun when he's actually enjoying the wrestling that he's watching. And, I really enjoyed it. But Chris Jericho beat Hiroshi Tanahashi. So the Forbidden Door stays closed, and the Young Bucks did an interview with ESPN basically saying, yeah, there was never any chance that we were doing anything with them. So all's well that ends well, maybe, but it sucks. Because I think bridging that gap would really be helpful to both companies.
Doesn't surprise me. Put that out there, dangle the thread, make people interested, put up the idea that maybe Tanahashi's going to win that match, and then at the last minute, he doesn't, and then you go, well, got you guys.
Yeah, maybe, but still sucks. And Jon Moxley is in New Japan for the foreseeable future. What do you think? You think Jon Moxley just continues to kind of skate the line?
There's no confirmation on how long his contract with AEW is there?
I think it's multi-year.
Because I would assume that they would sign him for at least a 2-year something contract, if not 3 or 5. But maybe they didn't quite sign him for anything that exclusive because they just wanted to get him, as quickly as they could for Double or Nothing. And maybe that's something that could factor into his potential future if he isn't locked into AEW for 5 years or something. Maybe he wrestles a lot more for New Japan and he just kind of wants to split the difference a little bit. It'd be kind of interesting.
I suppose. I would like to see more of Moxley everywhere. I think he's doing a great job, but I also don't want to see him just, whore himself out and do any local indie.
I still can't imagine that AEW would be cool with the idea of people wrestling for other shows, because there's been instances already where it's like, Moxley had gotten injured, and then, that wasn't quite injured, but you know what I mean. And that was pretty much from elsewhere, and that screwed up AEW's plans. Chris Statlander has a prior commitment. They had to change their idea of the Riho match, and they're going to do that this week instead of last week. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where it's like, well, if AEW is not necessarily the priority, or if AEW has to suffer losses just because some other company had some match and the person got injured in that or something, eventually you got to get to a point where you're like, all right, well, don't do that anymore, guys. And I can understand the philosophy that they want them to be able to wrestle other matches elsewhere to make more money because they don't have the live events and different things like that, but I don't know. That's kind of one of those things that if I were Tony Khan, I'd be like, I don't think I made the right decision with that.
I agree.
I guess we'll see about that, how it goes in, a couple months from now or so. Is he the United States champion right now?
Yeah, he won it back this weekend.
So I wonder if that's just a reset or if that was like their game plan all along.
I think it might have been their game plan all along. He's set to face Minoru Suzuki soon, and I'm wondering if the Suzuki match, had the Typhoon not occurred, if that would have just been their Wrestle Kingdom match.
No idea who that is.
Yeah, maybe you don't, but you should. He's fun. He's a good time. New Japan is a good time.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's going on other than our Raw talk. Nothing else is like really standing out to me or whatever. So maybe we'll think.
Do you listen to the New Day podcast?
Yep.
Yeah, I would advise all of you to listen to every episode. It is the most insightful podcast to how creative works, to how pitching ideas works, to Vince McMahon just being delusional. Like, there's a lot of good in the New Day pod.
I liked this most recent thing where they were talking about the trombone, and that it was like the pod. That's I haven't seen the pod. The trombone was something that they were just sort of like out on the whim, just like they did that, whatever. And he meaning Xavier, didn't really know what to do with it. He was just gonna like, play him out to the ring a little bit or something like that. And Vince loved it so much when he kept doing that he eventually said, like, you do this every time now.
Oh, shit.
So that's a good insight, too, of how sometimes Vince McMahon's just like, that fucking thing made me laugh, and now that's everything, every time thing or something. I check that out. I check After the Bell each week. Of course, I got to do the whole, like, the bump and backstage and whatever like that. Something to wrestle. Of course. And every once in a while, Grilling JR, but sometimes I just kind of can't listen to Grilling JR. Depends on the topic.
Is he too ornery for you?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's... See, here's the two differences between episodes of Grilling JR. Well, the three. There's either I enjoy it and it's a lot of fun and I like listening to it, and then there's the two avenues of when I don't like it, which is if they're talking about stuff that I'm not all that super into, like, he's going back in time and talking about George Hackenschmidt and whatever. I'm like, all right, well, that's an era that I'm not interested in. I don't really care about WCW in 1980, whatever. Fine. Or when it ends up being like Conrad kind of throws him a softball and he's like, so, around this time, Sheamus got injured and you had a new champion that you needed to crown. What was the process of trying to figure out who would win the belt next or something? And then he'll be like, I'm sick and tired of everybody that's like saying that AEW doesn't do this or whatever. It's fucking show. It's this, it's that. And you're just like, oh my God, why are you mad? What the hell? Like, I say that knowing full well I'm going to go on a rant later on this podcast, but like,
Yeah, but you're not thriving working for AEW.
No, but I mean, in any scenario, it could be like, he could be talking about Christian getting a push, and he'll be like, sometimes people just don't have it, and Edge was a little bit more special than Christian, and you were like, okay, that's the point he's making. It'll be like, not everybody gets the fucking chance. Everybody, just like, so next time you want to leave a comment and say, oh, JR is crapping on Christian, well, I'm like, holy crap, somebody just smacked him in the face or something. Now he's upset. What the hell,
I do feel bad because you can just tell that like he's at a stage in his life where he's just like, no, fuck this, and I've had it. Like,
then again, dealing with the people on the internet all the time, I'm sure that is 100% a justification, because he's probably looking at so many tweets where people are just like nitpicking every little fucking thing, and people like myself calling him out on that, and he'd be like, well, of course I'm upset. You're mad at me being upset. Like, I do listen to Grilling JR every once in a while. I still just kind of can't get into Shivani's or 83 Weeks or the millions of other podcasts that are out there or anything. But New Day, thumbs up.
Still liking the New 83 Weeks when there's a good topic. I liked it a lot more when I didn't know that he went back to WWE and had like a 20-minute experience there. I liked it when I was telling WCW stories. Not too shabby. Siri thought I was talking to her for some reason.
Didn't think it was too shabby, though.
Wrestling podcasts are good. I think the New Day one is the best.
Yeah, I recommend checking that out. That's always to see it, or listen to it. You don't really see anything. Then again, that's kind of like SmackDown. You're not really seeing anything on your screen right now, but hey, if you're the type of person who's staring at the screen, drop a comment below and tell me why you're doing that, because the screen doesn't change.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about Raw. So, where do we start? Do we start with the big thing?
Well,
I mean, it was the beginning of the show.
there was plenty of big things on this show.
There was a big thing. There was a big show.
It was a
Big
big
thing
show.
on the
There was a
show.
big show. But I think we start with the big thing.
So the big thing, AJ Styles beat Akira to... I was just kidding. No, so Paul Heyman comes out at the beginning of the show, and he announces that Brock Lesnar will not be defending the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble because nobody deserves to fight him for it. And my original reaction is, oh, that's great. Point out the fact that you haven't set up anybody for it, but at least maybe somebody's going to come out, and whether it's a Drew McIntyre or it's a fucking Ricochet, whoever, somebody comes out and they go, yeah, you don't think that I'm worthy? I'm worthy. I will challenge you for the championship. Instead, the promo just keeps going. And it ends up being, instead, Brock Lesnar will be in the Royal Rumble match. And he'll be entering number 1. So, I got a lot to unpack with that. I actually started to write down on a little thing on Notepad++, which I use all the time. I started to write down something, and I wrote down 3 possible ways to write this. It was either devil's advocate or argument for argument's sake or both sides of the argument. And I was like, I'm not making an article out of this. I'll just rant on the podcast. These are the things I'm seeing from people that are positive about this. And I want to kind of point out how there's some flaws in that. One argument that I'm seeing is, it's interesting. Well, that's up for debate. It's just your opinion. You may think it's interesting. I may think that it's not. That's kind of the end of that discussion. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I fall a little bit more on it's interesting. It's stupid that there's no belt on the line.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother, you start getting deeper levels, but it's sort of like, do you think it's interesting or do you not? I think that it's interesting in the, oh, god damn it type of way, but I don't think it's interesting in the, ooh, I'm twiddling my fingers and I don't know what they're going to do next. And other people might. And if that's the case, go ahead, that's your opinion. There's the opinion of, well, I like Lesnar, so this is cool. Well, in that scenario, there's nothing I or anyone else can say that can change your opinion because, again, it's just your opinion. You like Brock Lesnar, so Lesnar doing something is interesting for you. For that matter, there are people out there who like to eat their own boogers. So I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes some people have opinions you agree with, and sometimes they have opinions that you don't agree with. And if you tell me that milk chocolate's better than dark chocolate, I'll say I fully agree with you. And if you're Callum and you say chocolate sucks, I'll be like, well, Callum's wrong. But if you like Lesnar and you think that him doing this is cool and that's it, that is a priority over everything else, then that's your priority. I like to tie this a lot in with food, or as an analogy, and I like to tie things in quite a bit with Star Wars a lot recently. So, little spoiler-esque kind of breakdown very quick about the idea of the Rise of Skywalker. A lot of people complaining, saying, well, this ruined everything. And then you get people like me who are like, well, this apologized for the fact that the previous movie ruined everything, and the whole trilogy sucks, but at the very least, they ended it in a way that wasn't as bad as if they would have gone the opposite direction. So my priority for that one was, don't fuck it up anymore. At least try to fix up something. And I walked out of the movie going, no, they didn't fuck it up as much. They made some of those things a little bit better, and it sucks, but at least it's not, there's a difference between you're getting a D+ as opposed to an F,
Right.
If your priority is that Lesnar does something interesting and all the rest of the things all the other dominoes that fall according to it don't matter, then yeah, that's interesting that Lesnar's doing this. That's, it's weird and different and whatever. My issue comes in with all the other crap. So I'm seeing the argument of, well, this is unpredictable. Oh yeah? Well, I see it happening in 3 different ways. He either destroys everybody and wins, he destroys everybody and somebody eliminates him, or he gets eliminated super fast. And we're going to break those down in a little bit too. But in theory, I kind of feel like those are the only 3 options. And if I already have 3 scenarios that I see happening and none of them would shock me, does that kind of mean it's not unpredictable?
By definition, yes.
Yeah, so there goes that. I'm seeing the argument of, well, nobody else deserved a title shot. And that's a good thing? That's a bad thing. That proves that WWE didn't do its job in the last 2 months of building up somebody worthy of challenging Brock Lesnar as a viable contender. Why would you celebrate that nobody is important or credible enough to fight Brock Lesnar? That's not a good thing.
I like the idea of Lesnar in the Rumble. I don't like the idea of there's no title on the line, because I think, hey, if Lesnar wants to prove that he's a badass, put the belt on the line and let everybody come at it.
Well, that's another thing is some people going, oh, it's kind of cool that the championship is there and that's, in there. Well, that kind of defies logic because all the other times that the championship has been involved in the Royal Rumble match have been either when the championship's been on the line, 1992 and 2016?
Yep.
16 or 17? Who was it? No, 17 was Nakamura, right?
18 was Nakamura. 17 was Randy Orton.
Okay, so then it was the other. Yeah, it was 2016 then. So the Roman Reigns one and the Ric Flair one. Now those, they had the championship on the line. I'm not the biggest fan of that overall, especially since we just did that. But when your champion's in the match, I mean, it made sense prior to 1993 when you didn't have the number 1 contenders thing. Now you do. Now you're setting up a situation where either Brock Lesnar wins the match, and if he does, he earns a title shot for the other championship, which is cross-branded, and now you're doing winner takes all, and you're just copying what you did last year, and you're doing heel versus heel, and why would you do Lesnar versus Wyatt, and it's a whole, confusing setup with that. Or you're setting up the idea that Brock Lesnar's fighting himself at WrestleMania. You can't do that. I know that WWE likes trolling people, and they get a whole lot of fun out of pissing people off, but I'm going to be so friggin' pissed if Brock Lesnar wins this and we have to spend February and March and however long beginning at the start of April undoing it. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want that storyline to be the thing that I have to write up for 3 months,
So let me pitch some ideas to you as far as who can eliminate Brock Lesnar and start.
Before you do that, that's the other one. The other argument is, well, when somebody eliminates him, that will set up his challenger for WrestleMania. So, even without talking about who could do it, because I have somebody in mind, wouldn't the winning the Royal Rumble do that? Wouldn't winning the match that determines who can challenge the person at WrestleMania be the whole point of winning that?
Here's inherently the problem with having a men's Rumble, a women's Rumble, and a men's Raw champion, and a men's Raw SmackDown, a men's Raw women's champion. A men's champion on Raw, a women's champion on Raw, a women's champion on SmackDown, a men's champion on SmackDown. There's too many prizes and not enough opportunities to win them.
Elimination Chamber.
Right, but you have to get through this Rumble. I am a firm belief that SmackDown's getting both Rumble wins. Because I believe that unless it's Ronda or Shayna, Sasha Banks is winning the Rumble and fighting Bayley.
I am not. I think that Shayna is winning. Yeah, this might change over the next couple of weeks, but I think that Shayna's winning in order to fight Becky. So I guess technically that counts as a Raw thing, although it's sort of an NXT side of things. I don't think that Ronda's returning, and I'm really starting to think more so that SmackDown is just going to be one of those clusterfuck type things. And if they do have Rousey return. I think that they might wait for the Elimination Chamber thing just to kind of be like, oh wow, like that's another thing. You never know when there's going to be surprises and stuff. But I think that the whole like Elimination Chamber thing is sometimes they've done that with like the number one contenders thing. Sometimes they put the title on the line, and I don't know, that could change things up a little bit.
So here's why I'm saying I think that whoever eliminates Lesnar will build towards a match with Lesnar, but without winning the Rumble itself. I think Roman's winning the Rumble. But I think if you can get Matt Riddle to throw Brock Lesnar out, and Paul Heyman did say, anybody from Raw, anybody from SmackDown, anybody from NXT, now's your chance to jump at the beast. So that's Matt Riddle. You could do it with Keith Lee. But the guys that I think actually do it, I'm going with one of three. Cain Velasquez, which I will vomit. This one seems a little more far-fetched, but John Cena. And even more far-fetched, Dio Madden.
Yeah, I do not see two of those happening.
And now, here's one that I didn't have in mind until I saw Raw tonight. Drew McIntyre.
So I have an article that I had written up last night, and then of course they announced this and they kind of changed things up, so I had to redo some of it. But Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, it'll be up on Bleacher Report, so you might listen to this beforehand, you might listen to it afterward, I don't know. Spoiler alert if you want to read that later on. It doesn't fucking matter. The article is the most likely picks to win the Royal Rumbles. And I'm going, my number 3 pick for the women is Charlotte Flair. My number 2 pick for the women is Ronda Rousey. And my number 1 pick is Shayna Baszler. For the men, I had originally had down like Kevin Owens, for instance, being a good chance to fight Brock Lesnar. Then they did this whole thing with Drew McIntyre, and I'm like, wow, they seem to be kind of positioning Drew McIntyre as being a potential babyface going forward, and they're kind of like playing around with it, just testing the waters, sort of. So let me put him on equal playing field with Kevin Owens. I do think that if somebody from SmackDown wins, it's going to be Roman Reigns, but I used to have Cain Velasquez as my, it's a little bit of a longer shot because he still isn't back quite in the swing of things, but maybe they do that. Now he's skyrocketed to being like, God damn it, I think he's going to win. Because here are the two scenarios. Scenario A, someone eliminates Brock Lesnar, they win the match, which earns them the right to challenge for a title at WrestleMania, and they pick Lesnar, which Lesnar didn't need to be in the match to begin with. Why did they need to toss him out if they were going to earn the number 1 contender spot anyway? Is it just to make them look strong so in the next 3 months they keep going back to the well of, well, I eliminated you, so I'll beat you again at WrestleMania? Is it literally, let's have Brock Lesnar in the match so he can be taken down a peg so we have one line to repeat for 2 months? That's stupid. Or scenario B, somebody eliminates Lesnar, but another person wins the Royal Rumble. Maybe Lesnar comes back into the match and beats that person up and throws him out or something like that. Of course, this is ruling out the idea that Brock Lesnar doesn't just win the match and then, whatever happens with that. But I don't think Lesnar's winning. I think that, and of course, we'll change our opinions potentially later on predictions, Royal Rumble coming up in a couple weeks. I just cannot see WWE, as much as they keep testing my patience with it, I can't see them being stupid enough to give Brock Lesnar this win and to literally spend the next whole month and then Elimination Chamber.
Einstein defined insanity.
Yeah.
As doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
That's why I just always expect Brock Lesnar to win everything. So it's like at the same time, I gotta kind of rule the option that Brock Lesnar does win this. And they very well could spend all of February going, Brock Lesnar won, he doesn't have a challenger at WrestleMania, and then they go, oh, we changed our mind, we're going to have the Elimination Chamber is going to do that. That'll be annoying, but it wouldn't shock me if they did that, and I really don't want that to happen. I really don't think that they're going to do Lesnar versus Wyatt. I don't quite get why they would want to go through all those hoops to do that. So here's what I think happens. Brock Lesnar shows up number 1. They already said that. Which, by the way, they love like kind of contradicting themselves around Royal Rumble time in particular. They did not have Elias as part of any of this graphics and stuff. Elias literally started SmackDown by saying like he's going to win the Royal Rumble. They keep not acknowledging it. It's very funny.
Well, he just said he's going to walk with everybody. Never said anything about winning the Royal Rumble.
Was that like technicality, that kind of thing?
Correct.
So Lesnar's going in there number 1. I hate this. I feel like I'm going to hate this match. And it sucks because the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite things of the year. And it's genuinely so fun when they do it the right way. And this is the wrong way. This is going to be Lesnar tosses out number 2, tosses out number 3, tosses out number 4, tosses out number 5, tosses out number 6. They're either eliminating him super quick, like he's starting it off with somebody like a Cain Velasquez, and Lesnar gets tossed over the top, and then they're like, wow, you didn't see that coming, oh my god, now we're going to go and actually move on to the Royal Rumble. That I'll be cool with.
As long as it's not Velasquez?
I'm just assuming it is. I'm 100% assuming at this point it's Cain Velasquez. And I'm just resigning myself to the idea that we're getting Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because he either eliminates him very quickly and they brawl or whatever, or he pops up at number 10 or number 15 or number 20 or number 28 or whatever like that and eliminates Lesnar. And then they brawl and whatever. Because Lesnar could just come in, beat him up, throw him over the top rope, and then they're like, Brock Lesnar's such a poor sport, and he didn't let that guy win, and he would have won the Royal Rumble, and then Roman Reigns wins. And then they do that. Which, in that scenario, here's an issue with that. Brock,
yeah, he can still choose Brock.
Not only that he could still choose Brock, but why would he be the number 1 contender? Because he didn't win the match. If you have somebody like a Cain Velasquez, you can't quite trust that he's going to do the Elimination Chamber all that well. So the number 1 contender Elimination Chamber thing goes out the window. The number 1 contender Elimination Chamber thing goes out the window for SmackDown because Roman Reigns won, so he already has the SmackDown thing. So then you're kind of backtracking from WrestleMania, and you're saying the 2 dyads or whatever, that's a word for the month from fucking Star Wars, that you want to build this WrestleMania around is, in that scenario, Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt, and he either wins the Royal Rumble or he wins the Elimination Chamber. Or they set up some kind of stupid number 1 contenders match.
I would go with he's winning the Royal Rumble.
And then you go with Cain Velasquez against Brock Lesnar, and your priority for it is we need Lesnar in the Royal Rumble and this person in the Royal Rumble too. And either the person wins the Royal Rumble, in which case you didn't need Brock Lesnar in there because that sets up the match anyway, or he loses the Royal Rumble and then you have to try to figure out another way to make him the number 1 contender, which they probably would just do out of, we just announce it because fuck you, we don't want to go through all that effort. I can't see Velasquez in particular beating Brock in the Royal Rumble, losing the Royal Rumble, wrestling an Elimination Chamber to become number 1 contender and fighting Brock at WrestleMania. I can't see that scenario happening. I would believe much more that WWE, knowing the way that they do things and they don't follow logic, that they would have him toss him out and then say, well, Roman Reigns won, he's challenging Bray Wyatt, so we don't have a number 1 contender for Raw, but he did eliminate Brock Lesnar, so that puts him in contention, and then they just have a bunch of Paul Heyman talking promos and stuff. In which case, we have to look at Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber comes up March 8th, if I remember correctly. And you've got all of February you have to go through, and another week in January, and the first week of March. So you've got 4 or 5, 6 weeks. what do you do with the Elimination Chamber? You can't have it be that Roman Reigns wins because he's the Royal Rumble winner. You can't have it be Cain Velasquez wins because he's already being set up as the number one contender. There's no point in having Bray Wyatt or Brock Lesnar defend the title in the Elimination Chamber because you know that they're not going to change the belt. And you know that Brock isn't probably going to do the Elimination Chamber to begin with.
Well, I don't think he needs to. I think you can do it with Bayley, and you can do it with, if not The Fiend, then you can do it with a Raw champion, like whomever. You can do it with Becky and Bayley. You could do 2 women's chambers. That wouldn't be too bad.
If somebody said to you, you can fantasy book now, but you have to keep this idea of everything that happened on this episode of Raw. You can't undo that 100%. You can't just be like, all right, retcon, Brock decided he's not going to be a part of it, or, any of that kind of thing. How would you book the road to WrestleMania?
Given what I've got, I'll play it safe. I have Drew McIntyre thrown over the top rope. And we're going from there. Drew McIntyre can win the chamber and officially become the number one contender, and then you crown Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. It's been long enough.
So you'd go Reigns wins Royal Rumble?
I'm going Reigns wins Royal Rumble all the way.
I'd go in a similar road. I mean, obviously, I would rather Brock Lesnar not be champion. I'd rather this not happen. I'd rather all these other kind of things and stuff. But if you told me, like, nope, this is what you're working with, go ahead and fix it, I would have Brock Lesnar start off at number 1. I'd have number 2 be somebody like a sympathetic person. Heath Slater, for instance. Because here's another thing that I have a problem with. I don't like when they do these Royal Rumbles where it revolves around one thing. I don't like the idea of, like, this year's Royal Rumble is going to be Brock beats the crap out of everybody and proves that he's better than everybody else, which we know, and they just keep drilling into our heads until the one big savior comes and starts putting up a fight. I don't care. I don't want to watch a half an hour of Brock Lesnar taking somebody, throwing them away, and then sitting there and waiting and smiling. And Paul Heyman saying, I told you, everybody's going to be victimized and brutalized. I don't want a half an hour of that. You're killing the match that I find the most entertaining per year,
I still find it the most entertaining. I think this is just a speed bump on the road to WrestleMania.
So my issue is I hate that. I want to get rid of it. I want to play around with the people like me who hate that just for a tiny fraction of the time. I'm going to have number 1 be Brock, number 2 be like a Heath Slater. He beats the shit out of him, tosses him over the rope. Number 3 comes in, it's some upshot, type of guy or whatever, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, something like that. He gets a couple kicks in, and Brock low blows the guy and throws him over the top, and he's just like, fuck you, whatever. Number 4 comes in, it's another guy like that. Then number 5 comes in, it's a big name. That guy throws Brock over. Suddenly, everything becomes, okay, fuck, they were actually not going in that direction. Now the whole playing field changes. Who would I make to be that?
Yes.
At this point, I feel like it has to be either Velasquez, Owens, McIntyre, or Reigns. Because they're not going to have anybody really fight Lesnar other than those other 3. Reigns being the Wyatt situation. And really, why would you have Reigns do that and whatever? I would love for it to be Braun Strowman, but I don't want Braun versus Lesnar. So that's another issue. But that'll be annoying as hell too if they make him like job out to Lesnar, like he's like number 8 and he just gets thrown out immediately just to prove a point. Really not looking forward to that. But of course I'm not going to pick Cain Velasquez because I don't want Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar. So I'd go Owens. I'd say, you know what? Owens does it and that's it, because I don't trust the idea of McIntyre quite yet for WrestleMania. But if you go with McIntyre, oh, cool. I'm okay with it. As long as it happens quick. And then you got to fill time for the whole Elimination Chamber thing. So you give the win to Roman Reigns for the Royal Rumble. You set up the whole thing with Bray Wyatt. Elimination Chamber is Bray Wyatt defending the championship against Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, The Miz. Who would the other two people be?
They were
King Baron Corbin and Dolph
Corbin,
Ziggler.
and yep, perfect.
So you have those three heels, you have those three baby faces. Miz is kind of tweenerish, and you just kind of have Bray Wyatt finish the whole thing like that, and you set up that it's for sure Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt. I know that there's flaws. I know that they're going to screw it up. They're going to make people boo Roman Reigns. They're going to screw it up no matter what. So whatever. And then you make the number one contender one be the Raw side of things, and that person like that Kevin Owens or whatever that tossed Brock out, Paul Heyman just makes the argument and says, you didn't win the Royal Rumble. No, you're not the number one contender. I don't care if you tossed Brock Lesnar out. That doesn't make you number one contender. So that gives that person something that they have to win, another thing. It's another challenge for them to overcome. I don't under any circumstances think WWE is going to do this. I think right now, Brock beats the shit out of people in a boring 30-something minute long thing. He goes all the way to like number 20-something. Somebody comes out. It's Cain Velasquez. He takes Brock out. Brock comes back in, throws Cain Velasquez out, and they brawl. And you're like, wow, that goes 3/4 of the Royal Rumble, and it's wasted.
If they wasted on Velasquez, then I'm not a happy camper.
I would be incredibly shocked if it's anybody but Velasquez.
That would definitely suck. There's definite peaks and valleys here. I'm just trying to look at the positivity of it.
I just feel like this is one of those scenarios where people are going to go, well, this is interesting and it's different and it's cool, and why don't you like it? And I'll be like, because it's ruining a match I enjoy. It's doing something that I don't feel like reporting on for the next bunch of months. It's not doing anything to put over the right person in the right way. It's defeating its own purpose, because if that person won the Royal Rumble, they wouldn't need Brock Lesnar in it. And if they have Lesnar in it and they lose the match, then why are they doing it to begin with? And then it sets up a match that I don't want at WrestleMania. Like, I can't see a whole lot of positives coming out of this, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I'm going to be.
I hope that you're wrong as well. But you know what? One thing that we couldn't get wrong, because he's so damn big, is the return of the Big Show.
Well, I will say, if this becomes one of those talking points that gets too frustrating to listen to, Brock Lesnar rule might return. So
Yeah.
We did have another big thing throughout the night. The Big Show made his return. He was the special partner for Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens against AOP and Seth Rollins. Didn't quite look all that different from the last time we saw him, but that's good, you know?
Yeah, he looks phenomenal.
Yeah, so how are you feeling about Big Show right now? What did you like to see them do going forward with Big Show?
I like the legendary pop. I hope he gets a little bit more than that. I'd like to see him do some matches with guys that he can put over, like, another one for Drew McIntyre. I think Aleister Black could even kick him in the face. But here's the thing, and you're going to think I'm lying. I think he's in the Andre at 36. And I think he's the last person Hulk Hogan throws out. I think Hulk Hogan wins the Andre.
Wow, that's a random prediction.
No, because what can you really do with the Big Show at WrestleMania? In a big platform.
I mean, I'm anticipating that he's in the Andre, but that Hulk Hogan thing...
Hogan wants one last match. I don't think he can have a match. I think he can throw somebody over the top rope.
You know, theoretically, if you put Hogan in the Andre, he doesn't have to take a bump.
That's exactly why I want him in the Andre.
That's not a bad idea. All he has to do is punch and sit in a corner, and then eventually he's down to the final person, and he does his, point, and maybe he does his leg drop if he's able to do his leg drop, and he big boots the person over the top if he can do that. Like, that, that's not a bad idea if they were to do that.
Well, thank you.
But I don't think it's happening.
I mean, stranger things have happened. And that's a good show. Stranger Things.
Very good show. Big fan of that. if Big Show has a match at WrestleMania that's not an Andre, who do you think that they might pair him up with? Because I kind of can't see it being like, well, we're gonna do Big Show versus Seth Rollins or Big Show versus who the fuck knows, Andrade. Like,
Then guess what? I think we're calling either Keith Lee or Big Jordan right up from NXT.
I'm looking at the roster right now, and there's nobody standing out to me that I would be like, oh, it's Humberto Carrillo or it's Randy Orton or the only person. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but they are pushing Eric Rowan. And he is a big dude.
So but they already had a stairs match. Tony, we don't need to revisit that.
Well, they had a stairs match, but they didn't have a tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs match. And kendo sticks.
Yeah, well, you're onto something there, pal.
That way, that's a completely different type of no disqualification match. Especially if you then classified that it's a tables, ladders, chairs, stairs, kendo sticks street fight in Belfast or something. So maybe they've got a plan for Big Show for WrestleMania. Maybe he's just coming back and they're like, let's bring you back and, we'll figure out what's going on going forward. But it's kind of neat that Big Show's back. I like Big Show as long as he's, being Big Show, not doing anything too crazy, not getting injured or something like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
All right.
That's interesting.
Let's talk about it. What the hell is a fist fight?
Well, I mean, I know what a fist fight is, but the WWE's rules.
I mean, why are we advertising a fist fight? Is this really just so you can get the words once in a lifetime, or not once in a lifetime, but once
for the first time ever? First time ever. A fist fight on Raw, and it's going to be these people, right? Because they had the graphic up as a blank person instead of Big Show.
Hey, maybe somebody else has got fists. No flips, just fists.
What if that's their gimmick for the next couple of weeks? Is that Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens keep having these random extra people tagging up with them?
I thought it was John.
Next week it's Butterbean. Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be so much fun.
It would be fun, but it's not happening. It's probably just going to be Big Show and they put the wrong graphic up. Did they say anything on WWE.com? I mean, they never seem to update this damn thing well enough.
They do not update it quick enough.
I don't understand why.
What do you think? They're a $1 billion company? Come on, Ty.
They got something about the Miz. They got Big Show returns to help Owens and Joe. See if it says anything about that in there. But yeah, fist fight. It's like, and they had to cram it in because it's 10:59. So they're like, oh, look at that! Like he knocks out Seth Rollins. By the way, we're gonna do this next week. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have Rusev against Bobby Lashley. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna have a fist fight next week. All right, see you later, everybody. Bye. Like that kind of thing.
I'm looking forward to the fist fight. But you mentioned it, Rusev and Lashley. Well, no, let's talk about Rey first, and we can end on Rusev and Lashley. Rey Mysterio and Andrade have banger matches. They're always good. They're never bad. Zelina Vega took a bump. Andrade gets the win. Andrade rips the mask off. Rey beats the shit out of Andrade backstage, takes the mask from Andrade, and then takes the belt from Andrade. I think we get a mask versus belt match at the Rumble. I think Rey officially unmasks. I think he gives that mask to Andrade. To Dominic. And then Dominic versus Andrade at WrestleMania 36.
I like the idea of the hair versus mask, the title versus mask. I like that. I like the idea of potentially giving the mask to Dominic. I don't know if Dominic's ready enough for that kind of spot. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. We're not privy to that information, but that could be their game plan. It could be Rey Mysterio in the corner of Dominic instead of like Zelina Vega being in the corner of Andrade. It could be kind of interesting. There's a lot of things on Raw this week that was like, we're going to fill the gap a little bit. Like, it's like Rey talks to Sarah. They have their match. It gets restarted. They have their thing. And then later on, they have an interview segment that's a fight. So they got like 5 segments out of that one thing. Samoa Joe teases that he's got a partner. Then later on, they're like, hey, do you know who the partner is? And they're like, yeah, we'll let you know later. And then they do the thing. Like, I mean, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. So some of that stuff we're going to skip over, obviously. But the Andrade thing could be a very interesting direction. I kind of like where you're going with that. We had our Raw Tag Team Championship Triple Threat match. The Viking Raiders successfully retained over the OC and the Street Profits. Nothing really too much for me to talk about there. Anything you want to chime in on?
Too long. The match was fine, but it was too long.
To be perfectly honest, that's where I wrote up some other kind of stuff. So it didn't feel too long for me because I was kind of distracted. It's another reason why I don't have too much to be like, oh, this part of the match is whatever. I do remember seeing in part of the match, though, when Montez and Ivar were doing their whole, like, I could do the splits, I could do the cartwheel, I could do
yeah, then they both started
handstand.
cartwheeling around.
And then I eventually was like, did Ivar shit himself? Because it looked kind of like he had some kind of face paint or something stuck on him from probably Luke Gallows. But quick second, I'm like, did he shit himself? We did a Becky Lynch promo segment. She says that she is kind of second guessing the idea of facing Asuka. Asuka comes out and says whatever, because I don't speak Japanese, and Becky punches her. Did not like that segment.
They're building towards something with Lynch, so I like that a lot.
Well, what do you think they're building toward? Because to me, I can't see a clear direction of anything going here.
Again, I don't think any SmackDown superstar, I don't think any Raw superstar wins the Rumble. I think Becky says, I want to be in the chamber. She wins the chamber, and then it's like, hey, my contract is coming up, and you're going to give me what I want at WrestleMania, and I want Ronda Rousey one-on-one. Or Shayna Baszler, whichever one is available.
We had a fun thing here with Mojo Rawley asking to take a look in the cage that Eric Rowan carries around. And who would have thought that all these people trying to get into the cage and pissing off Eric Rowan, Mojo Rawley gets to take a peek. And he's just like, hey, can I look in that? And Rowan's like, yeah, okay. What the hell?
Yeah, well, we've evolved to the, yeah, okay, you can look at my weird fetish thing that I have in my crate here.
It's like, did you say please? It's a weird scenario, but he takes a peek. He gets all freaked out. Then they have KJ Orso, a jobber, lose to Eric Rowan, and Rowan forces the guy to look into the cage. And he comes out screaming like he has seen
A ghost.
Ghost and the prophecy of his future death and all this other kind of horrible stuff. And he had blood all over his face. Yeah,
the creature spit blood at KJ Orso.
I dig it.
I agree.
I think that's pretty cool. Like I've been saying before that I think it would be interesting if there was nothing in there and that Rowan's like crazy and he's imagining something in there. And I really didn't want it to just be like a rat. But now you're tossing out the idea that there's something in there that's like spitting blood on these people and that Mojo immediately reacted to it. I don't have a clue what that could be.
It's the severed head of Bray Wyatt.
It'd be pretty interesting. Because like what? Nothing spits blood, right? I can't think of an animal that spits
Gangrel's in the cage, guys.
That would be amazing if Gangrel's head's just in there, and they rigged when they're working on like that lantern for the Fiend. They were like, let's try to figure out some other head things, and they're like, we got one that could just like spit blood and whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll do the Gangrel one, do that. I can't think of a single animal that could do that. Like, I mean, it's not like, a possum or a ferret or anything that be small enough or even bigger than that. There's nothing that I can think of that's like, well, the porcupine has these needles on the outside of its skin, and the armadillo has an armored thing, and the whatever the hell spits blood all over the place. Like, that's not quite a thing that's regular. I'm not Steve Irwin or everything, but I don't know all of Animal Kingdom, but maybe like a weird giant leech or something. Like, I don't know, they're always a bunch of blood and mosquitoes and stuff.
It's a Demogorgon.
Yeah, that could be the thing. It's a big tie-in for Stranger Things Season 4. It's fucking Hopper.
I mean, listen, if AEW is going to have Awesome Kong and Glow, then WWE should get Adana Gorgon and Stranger Things.
Yeah, but AEW hasn't capitalized on bringing Welfare Queen into the mix.
No, they haven't. She's really obsessed with people's hair for some reason.
How did she end? This is a random side note, but for Glow, how did she end the last season? Because she stopped being Welfare Queen because she couldn't wrestle anymore, right? Was she a manager?
She's going to be a manager.
Okay.
She's going to be Welfare Queen, but as a manager.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Which is ironic. Well, not ironic, but like, isn't that exactly what Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, did with his career?
Yeah, kind of. Although he wasn't Welfare King, he was.
He was actually rich. But yeah, that's what he did.
Let's see what else we had here. The AJ Styles beats Akira Tozawa by pinfall.
He does a RKO. I thought that was fun. Yeah. Sarah Logan, your girl. What do you think about Sarah Logan?
Sarah attacks Charlotte, so they don't have a match, and Sarah gets her ass beat. Just a thing.
Side note, Naomi's in the intro for Raw.
She is? Huh. That's weird. Let's backtrack on that, because we didn't do
we gotta cover the reviews. The returns, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we should backtrack a little bit on. People, we'll give you your content. We had The Miz possibly turn heel on SmackDown. We had John Morrison return and kind of seem like he's at least partnered up to a certain extent with The Miz, which is kind of interesting. We got the Usos returning. Oh, and Sheamus officially returned.
Sheamus was fun. I thought for a minute they were going to do your thing where he swerves and he actually saves Shorty G. But no, he just kicked Shorty G.
As soon as the Revival started to leave the ring, I was like, nah, he's just going to kick him. But I was thinking that too. I was like, that'd be kind of fun if he just, knocks out the Revival instead. And just goes, all these people are saying like these short people and all that, they're not the real men. And then it turns out we're all misinterpreting it. And the real men are the people like him they have the guts to be able to. And it's like, nah, fuck you, get out of my ring, you little short piece of shit. It's okay, fine.
Right. By the way, please reach out to the Blue Chew people so we can get a sponsorship. But rise above size is a fucking phrase.
That's a t-shirt.
Rise above size. Like if you're feeling inadequate as a male, hopefully they release a rise above size shirt. Wow.
In theory, that's such a good catchphrase, but when you think about it, it's such a bad catchphrase. Like,
who thought that was a good idea? Rise above size.
Like, I dig it for what they're going for, and it rhymes, and it's catchy, but then you're just like, yeah, that just immediately goes with dick.
Penis. Like, rise above size, Tony.
And you know what's so weird? We've talked about this before, but it's like I really want to drive home that point again. Chad Gable's not that much shorter than a lot of the other people that are on this roster. It's not like he's the size of Hornswoggle.
Fucking Michael Cole was like, yeah, okay, Andre. like the Revival when they were running him down. Like, if Michael Cole is going to burn you, then you know you're not doing much.
Like, I'm like 5'10", 5'11". If somebody who's 5'8" comes up to me, I'm not like, oh, you short piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a difference.
And first of all, isn't that like totally bullying? Like, shouldn't you be a star, WWE? Like, why make fun of this guy for being short?
No, he's rising above his size. That's the difference of that.
Well, absolutely. You gotta rise above your size, Tony.
Yeah, so slap a Viagra sticker on the bumper and call it a day. What do you think about the whole John Morrison and Miz connection?
I am begging you, please break from tradition. Have the slightest inkling of self-control. Do not do Miz and Morrison versus the New Day before WrestleMania. I want this match so bad, and I feel like I'm going to get it. But for God's sake, give it to me at Mania.
Do you think that they're actually going to be like a full-on tag team and Morrison is the heel now?
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know where Morrison's alignment is, but I do think they'll be a full-on tag team.
It's very interesting because it's like Morrison coming back in that way is so understated. And I'm watching it with Caroline, and I'm like, there's Morrison. She's like, who's that guy? I'm like, oh, that guy's, he won a lot of titles, never won the world championship, but I always was a big fan of him, and he's been out of WWE for like 8 years or so. And she's like, hey, he's like a slightly better looking Dolph Ziggler. That's our big response with John Morrison.
I think, ironically, if you consider their careers, that's probably true.
Oh, Ziggler's won more titles. He was a world champion.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But Morrison coming back in that way, I did not see that happening. I figured they would have had some kind of like an open challenge and he pops up, or that they would have been saving him for the Royal Rumble, or, something like that. For him to just kind of be like, yeah, I'm the one hanging out with The Miz in the locker room and he doesn't want to talk to you. See you later. Like, okay, that's strange. But at the same time, maybe they do have some kind of a plan. Maybe it'll be kind of fun. I don't know. I love The Miz and Morrison as a tag team, so if they do pair them back up, that's pretty cool. Hopefully they go in the right direction, though. I still don't know if maybe The Miz being a heel is not necessarily the best idea, but they're going down this whole trend where everybody that's feuding with Bray Wyatt ends up turning heel. I don't know if that's planned or if that's just coincidence.
No, that's definitely planned. They want to do a thing where it's like, Wyatt changes you. He
didn't change. Actually, no, it kind of did change Jerry Lawler a little bit. He is saying more things like heelish, like supporting Seth Rollins when he was running down the roster and all that. Yeah, wow.
See, it changes you.
If you can do that much fucking foresight, then why couldn't you figure out an opponent for Brock Lesnar for the Royal Rumble? Goddammit.
I think they could have. I just don't think they wanted to. I think they were like, who are we going to put him in the ring with? They ran through the roster and they're like, you know what? No, nobody's ready. Let's just put him in the Rumble.
Terrible. And the Usos back. They helped out Roman Reigns. So
they cut their hair. You did notice that, right? They cut their hair.
Nah, they didn't notice, but whatever.
I'm sorry. I've noticed in doing these shows that I notice the tiniest details.
Yeah, you're like the graphic is a different font this week for the bottom little scroll that only pops up for 10 seconds. It's like, all right.
Well, yeah, Tony, you got to notice these things.
Do you see that they pivoted the start part of the stage that has the little entrance thing where they normally have like 3 lights? Now it has 4.
Yeah, you see, you got to notice these things.
Oh, you beat me to my next Bleacher Report article. Yeah. No, I actually didn't notice about the Usos with the hair, but that's something.
You'll notice it when you see him in the ring. I had to look at him.
I still can't tell the two of them apart.
Yeah, and they made sure of that because they both got the same haircut.
So it's weird if Naomi isn't part of the intro for Raw. Wonder if they're gonna fix that next week or so. They should have fixed it by this time because I highly doubt that Naomi's going to be on Raw and they're going to be on SmackDown.
I would agree with that statement.
Smart decision bringing them over there, though. I had mentioned that many months ago that they needed to go to SmackDown, especially with the Revival potentially leaving.
And I like the pairing. Not the pairing, but the pairing of them with Roman.
Yeah, I mean, they got a connection to it. And they could do some kind of 3-on-3 type scenarios.
These Samoans just multiply like fucking bunny rabbits, huh?
So when does Rude's suspension expire?
30 days from about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So maybe he's got a week or two.
I kind of feel like it was around the 19th or so that he had gotten suspended. Don't remember 100% for sure. I'm going to try to look that up real quick. December 10th was when they were suspended. So 30 days from that.
So Friday.
Yeah, so we might get something like Roman and the Usos against Corbin, Ziggler, and Rude.
Yeah, that could really happen as soon as Friday. Oh. Yeah, Friday's the 10th.
Yeah, there you go. Something to look forward to if they do that. I mean, it would be stupid for them not to. makes sense. You got a tag team and a tag team. You got Roman and Corbin on the opposite ends. It writes itself.
And I feel like they could be actually good tag team matches.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. So going back to Raw, Black beat Shelton Benjamin, and then Buddy Murphy attacked Aleister Black after the match. So they're just gonna, he lost twice, and they're gonna do a third match anyway.
Yeah, fuck it.
Stupid. Drew McIntyre had a segment where he beat up the people in No Way Jose's conga line, and then he beat No Way Jose. Then he did something that I thought was pretty interesting. He grabs a microphone, and he says to the crowd, "Who wants me to do another Claymore?" Very babyface move.
And especially with the countdown. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Yeah, trying to get that over quite a bit, which I think that's pretty cool. 3, 2, 1, hits the Claymore. I still do not think that the Claymore is a good finisher for him, but he's doing it, so whatever. And he does the Claymore. He does a little thing where he's like, I never even dropped the microphone, which is pretty cool. And he talks about how he's never had a world title match, and he will enter the Royal Rumble and win that and get the match that way and stuff. Very much playing into the idea that he could be a babyface going forward, but still booking him against a babyface, which is kind of strange.
Very strange indeed. But this segment made me believe he can go to the Rumble and potentially eliminate Lesnar. So more power to him.
I still put no faith in that whatsoever, but I would be totally cool if it happened.
You know what?
You know what
I'd be totally cool with, and you'd hate me for saying this, but fuck it, it's history. Put Brock Lesnar in there number 1, and let him fucking throw every single person out. Let him get 29 eliminations. Fuck
if
it.
They do that, I'll probably be like, this is so absurd that I like it. Then it's like getting meta,
It's you. How many different ways can you make history? The only things I can think of that they haven't done is that having all 30 people in the ring at once, meaning nobody ever gets eliminated, and doing a spot where the final 2 people eliminate themselves with like a clothesline over the ropes, and then number 30 just comes out.
Oh my god, that would be so good. Oh, they should totally do that for something in the future, where it's just number 28 comes out and he cleans house. It's like a John Cena type or Roman Reigns or something, and it's like, all right, like it's number 28's down. We only have 2 more people coming. Number 28 runs to the ring. They start fighting for a couple seconds. Clothesline. Oh my god, they go everybody the top rope. Number 30's automatic win. All right, everybody's just looking at the clock. 10, 9, 8. We're gonna find out the winner of the Royal Rumble. Number 3, 2, 1. Fucking Santino or somebody pops up.
Yeah, like that's something you can do. And you know what? Fuck it. Have this dude actually throw out 29 people.
If they do that, I would laugh so hard that I think it would be worth it. I'd be pissed that they would never break the record of the amount of eliminations per Rumble, because it's impossible at that point. But it would just be like, all right, you got me. This is so stupid. This is such a massive middle finger that I'm okay with it,
I'm with it. I would do that.
So he does that. Let's go back to, this will be the last thing we talk about from Raw. Lana and Bobby Lashley have the officiate from last week.
No, but how do we even start this? This dude hits the ring. Apparently security thinks you're not supposed to be in the ring because he's being tackled to the ground by security. And they had to cut away.
Well, he served his purpose because he said, yeah, all that stuff from last week, there you go, you're married. Why the fuck did they even bring the guy?
I mean, according to security, he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Stupid. And then they go into their promo, and it's more of the same stuff. I'm Lana, I'm the big focal point, everybody loves me, everybody hates me, blah, blah, blah. I'm not into any of this at all. And Rusev pops up on the Titantron. He says that he is on a honeymoon since
Now,
they
hold
didn't
on.
take a honeymoon.
You're not giving the people the ambiance of this. Rusev pops up in front of the best green screen of all time. He's just in front of a green screen that clearly looks like it's supposed to be on a beach. And he goes, "Hi, it's me, Rusev, from Rusev Day." Like, you don't know who he is. And congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Bob. Since you're not taking your honeymoon, I figured I would take it for you. And then Lana's, "I hate you! You ruined everything! You ruined my life!" And Lashley just goes, "Shut up." Which is amazing. They've been married a minute and a half, and he's already like grown a pair of balls and telling her to shut up. He challenges Rusev to a match, at which point,
the theme of it being that he's gonna rip off his balls and shove it down his throat.
oh yeah, there was some very kinky discussion here.
And then Rusev's like, "I'm gonna fuck your body up in ways or something." What was it? It was like, "I'm gonna attack your body," and
Lashley's like, "I'm gonna strip you of your balls and shove them down your throat." And then Rusev gets really angry all of a sudden. He's just like, "No, this is what's gonna happen. The Bulgarian Brute is back, and I'm gonna beat your body and ravage your body, and then Lana can have the rest."
Very, like, exactly the type of thing that a lot of people criticize pro wrestling about, and they're just like, "Yeah, so is it about a bunch of greased up guys in their underwear wrestling each other and all that?" It's like,
and the best part of this segment, zero mention by name of Liv Morgan.
None at all. And then they follow it up with an interview with Charlie Caruso talking to R-Truth. "Hey, you've won more championships than anybody. You've broken the record." And R-Truth is like, "Yeah, and Liv Morgan's like, "Yeah, by the way, I didn't do anything with that other segment, so I'm going to be there with Rusev in his corner."
Real quick, I love Charlie Caruso. They have done a great job of taking her out of the robot form that most backstage interviewers have and giving her some real personality. I enjoyed her antagonizing Rollins a little bit. I enjoyed her, following Joe and Owens to the locker room, and she's like, "Well, no, you didn't say who it was. Who is it?"
Yeah.
They've done a great job with Charlie Caruso. But yeah, this Lana Lashley thing.
Well, to piggyback off of what you just said right there, they did a great job earlier in the night by having her be like, "Let's follow them and let's try to figure out who this person is." And then they did the complete opposite with, "I scheduled time to talk to R-Truth," and Liv Morgan came up and had a completely unrelated thought to just say, "I'll be there too for this other segment," and then let's just fade away and go to the next segment. Instead of, it's like, you planned on having an R-Truth interview, didn't you? Do the interview with R-Truth.
And Lawler did my favorite thing in the world, where he goes, "Liv says she's going to be there next week. What do you think that means?" Really? What do I think that means, Jerry?
I think that means that Natalia's answering that open challenge.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, next week for Raw at the very least, we have the Rusev and Bobby Lashley blow-off match that we had gotten twice before. And we have a fist fight. Whatever the fuck that means.
AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Styles versus Orton. Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black to determine if Aleister Black is 3 times better than Buddy Murphy, because that's a thing. I'm assuming we'll probably have another Eric Rowan showing the cage to somebody segment. I'm assuming we're going to have another thing with Becky Lynch and Asuka, because they just, featured players and stuff. We'll probably get some kind of a fallback on the whole Andrade and Rey Mysterio thing.
Probably another Drew McIntyre match.
Probably McIntyre beats the crap out of somebody. Yeah, maybe they push that envelope a little bit more, make him play around with fighting a heel instead of a babyface. I don't know.
But I enjoyed it. I gotta say, I enjoyed this Raw. It felt important, even if I didn't love everything. I thought it was good.
That Brock Lesnar thing, just, that's why this is going to be titled, or maybe not titled, but at least the thumbnail is Brock Lesnar ruins Royal Rumble. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to forward to your responses. So drop a comment below and tell us your thoughts on all these things that we talked about and anything else you want to chime in about, and maybe we'll respond to those. Maybe we'll lump that into the discussion of other things to come, because what is coming soon? Arnold Schwarzenegger? No, just... the next thing we're doing for Smack Talk at the very least is going to be the predictions for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2. My God, that's such a mouthful. And then, of course, later on this week on Sunday, I think it's at noon is when they're starting that. We're going to be doing that. So that's the post-show is happening after that. We've got the other stuff that could potentially happen, like the Darkcast, if I'm able to get around to doing that. There's always to pick your poison tier stuff on the Patreon. We're going to work on some things here and there, either for Smark Out Moment or for Fanboys Anonymous, which, of course, fanboysanonymous.com. Check out what's happening there. For those different things, whittle away at a couple little things here and there if I get the time to maybe work on my like rewriting Star Wars type project or something. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But if you want more for Fanboys, show more support there. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Follow the Facebook and Twitter. Hit up all the different types of things like the Patreon and all that for that. Do the same thing for Smark Out Moment. Obviously, you should be following us on Facebook and Twitter at Smark Out Moment if you haven't already done that. They are both at Smark Out Moment. Buy a t-shirt or something like that on the merch shops. There's the TeePublic and the Redbubble for A Mango Tees, Fanboys Anonymous, and Smark Out Moment. So there's stickers, and there's mugs, and clocks, and shower curtains, and dresses, and all sorts of different things and stuff. Bigger sellers are the t-shirts and the stickers, but every once in a while somebody buys a notebook, or somebody buys an iPhone case or something like that. So maybe there's something you're interested in. Bunch of different designs, bunch of different merchandise options. So browse it if you've got the spare change, and if you do, it's greatly appreciated. And if you don't have that and you want to show your support elsewhere, just leave the likes, leave the follows, share these things, leave ratings on stuff, and just keep tuning in. Watch time is also great too. So yeah, put the podcast on in the background and leave it running. That's another thing you can do. That's about the plugs that I've got, but you got some plugs to toss out.
I do have some plugs to toss out. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DudePolice. Check out everything I'm doing at WrestleZone.com. And check out everything I'm doing over at Fightful.com. I spent the weekend doing Wrestle Kingdom over there. I loved it. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp and the team. It's always a good time over there. I had a great time with Callum, and I know, like, Callum is here every Wednesday, and everybody's used to the three of us really being the kind of triforce of Smark Out Moment. But I really enjoy just talking about good wrestling with Callum, and I think that's always a good time. And yeah, I would suggest you guys check out our 2001 Wrestling Odyssey podcast, which is a complete retrospective of the year 2001. That's in the archives of this channel and over at smarkoutmoment.com. And yeah, look forward to more stuff that Callum has coming down the pike.
Yeah, he's got some ideas he's cooking up, so
it's not chocolate.
What kind of meal you're gonna get? No chocolate, no pizza. So it can't be that tasty. But...
I mean, like those are his only flaws, you know. But that's okay. Like, nobody's perfect. I'll have a pizza pie. He can have a Belgian bun. It's all good.
Tell us what you're eating. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us what you're looking forward to, and then look forward to it because it'll happen at some point.
And when you're looking, you look with 20/20 vision.
Yeah. So stay tuned for all that stuff happening in your future, everybody. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.